I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, like, how did you, like, from your beginnings, like how I no, let me put it this way. What was the first mu kind of music that attracted you that made you want to do music?
Music, period. Anything.
Yeah.
Well, I guess being surrounded by it because my dad was a great musician. He was a great arranger. He played in a kind of broadcasting big band.
Oh.
And his passion was Hispanic music and also Brazilian music. So he was a classical musician by a sort of discipline a learnt way. And the strangest paradox about him was just briefly was that he just would have loved to improvise, but he couldn't. He could not get past two notes. So I used to write solos for him.
Huh.
I mean, they weren't very good, but I mean, he played flute. He said, "Listen, I've got 8 bars here, and you write me something, and I'll play it tomorrow."
Oh, isn't that interesting how some musicians get brought up and are and can be such good musicians, but they somehow become uh, afraid of putting their own notes down.
Yeah, as if he just couldn't come to terms with. Hey, wait a minute! This is being recorded, and I've got to play something I don't know. And some people can't do that. I mean,
Yeah.
they just don't seem to be able to um, see their way in it at all. I mean, and are positively freaked out by that prospect, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess it's very exposing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a deep and interesting subject because it's I think it's a common wish of all artists and all musicians, particularly, to
Mm,
want to improvise, and uh,
mm.
and improvisation basically is it's letting yourself be. Basically, it's what I see it as. You letting yourself be, letting the thought that you have be shown to another. You know, you
Mm.
have a crazy thought. Hey, there's a green monkey traveling on the ceiling over here. What's he doing? You know, like, um, and not and not and being. Don't worry about other people saying, "Oh, that guy's crazy," you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the in our suppressed society, sometimes the imagination is is kept down. You know,
Mm.
the child the child that comes in from the yard bringing a stick and it's kind of magical to him. Look, Dad, this looks like a genie. And the dad says, put those thoughts out of your mind, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We're dissuaded from using our imaginations, and I think that might be part of it. But
Yeah.
to be able to expose yourself, I think is one of the things. My dad was a band leader. He played trumpet, and
I didn't.
actually he was a drummer first, but then he took up the trumpet and he led his band, and he wrote arrangements, and he did improvise. He was like a good sweet player. He loved Miles and Dizzy. Couldn't play like them, but had that sweet touch to his melodies.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
we both come up from musical families, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we sure do. Yeah.
So
And
now
a,
what?
and a dancer on the other side. Now she was a real performer.
Oh,
So, and she had rhythm, serious rhythm. So can't help feel that some of these genes somehow infiltrate into to the way we are. Somehow, particularly with your dad and my father, and
well, it's a cultural thing, isn't
yeah,
it? You grow up around it. Like
yeah,
my dad used to bring his musicians home after the after his engagement. They'd play a gig, and then I'm talking I'm 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old, and we're in this little 3-room apartment in Chelsea. That was the name of my town, by the way, outside of Boston, Chelsea, Massachusetts, Chelsea.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
But there's one.
we take all our city names from you guys, from you British guys. But anyway,
Chelsea.
so my dad would bring his musicians home after the gig, and they'd come in. I could hear them and all come in the kitchen. So I'd get up, because it was late. I guess I'd get up out of my bed, and I'd be part of the party. And they have their tuxedos on, and they have their ties loosened, and they're smoking cigarettes. And my mother's preparing. She called it fritada, which is basically putting stuff together, like whatever she had, macaroni and leftovers, and some eggs and omelets. And she was a great cook. So I used to hang out with them, and I wanted to be like them because they were so relaxed.
Mm.
That was my first introduction, like the culture was, I don't know if it was in my blood, but it was in my kitchen.